YouTube, what the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage here, and I am back in Total War Warhammer 2, and as promised, we will be doing more of these patch notes impacts, and we're going to talk about the Tomb Kings today, and then I have a really good Tomb Kings replay for you. So, what were the changes to Tomb Kings? Let's kick it off. Screaming Skull Catapult got 50 cheaper. Not bad. Gives the Tomb Kings another ranged option. It's pretty good against infantry. Not good against a whole lot of other stuff. The Casket of Souls got an increase to its accuracy, so this is going to give the Tomb Kings a long range improvement, because the Casket of Souls is even longer range than the Skull Catapult. And I've seen those do some pretty solid damage before, especially in the hands of Kitep. I think you all remember that replay from not too far back, so that'll certainly be interesting. Gives them a little more capability against infantry blobs and high-tier infantry units from range. Kitep on the Casket of Souls also got that projectile accuracy increase, no surprise. Cetra on the Chariot of Gods picks up 3 melee defense. Now, I don't know how much this is going to really do, but he's already pretty tough on that Chariot. When you give him the extra melee defense, remember, it's not like armor. Armor can be penetrated with AP attacks. Defense can't. So the higher their defense gets, the better. It's a great stat to have. The Necrosphinx the Necrosphinx gains 200 health. The Sphinx of Uskep, however, loses 200 health. So a bit of a balancing adjustment there. That means your standard Necrosphinx will be a hair stronger, and the Sphinx of Uskep a hair weaker. Sepulchral Stalkers picked up melee attack, and their projectiles now deal an extra 1 AP damage each. Spread that out across a unit, that could potentially be doing a lot of damage, so that makes that a very interesting unit indeed, because it's kind of a hybrid skirmisher and monstrous infantry. You don't have anything like it anywhere else in the Tomb Kings roster. And then Eyes of the Desert, +1 melee attack. Projectiles deal +1 AP melee damage each. So yeah, I think that is... Honestly, I can't even remember what that is. Is that a skill? I think it's a skill. Yeah, pretty sure it's a skill that gets picked up. I don't think it's... Or no, it's the Sepulchral Stalker. Sorry, my bad, folks. I knew that. I don't know why I forgot that all of a sudden. So, the Eyes of the Desert, Regiment of Renown, Sepulchral Stalkers picking up the exact same thing. So, there you go. That's the changes to the Tomb Kings. Honestly, nothing huge. I don't think this is going to change them a lot, but I certainly don't think the overall is any kind of hurt. It's obviously an overall help in the grand scheme of things. Almost sounds like they're encouraging people to use Kitep a little more and the long-range catapults. Let's take a look at the replay. This one was sent in by our friend Reptile King, who told me that this was a match that would keep me on the edge of my seat. And although I've already watched it, I can promise you it will keep you on the edge of your seat. It's a fantastic match between Reptile and Pencho Wolf here. He's going to be rocking Lokir Fellheart, who is an absolute beast in blobs of infantry. He has huge AP damage, and he can replenish, and so this guy is just a nightmare when he gets into a blob of infantry. So check him out. He's also looking cool here, the Kraken Lord himself. Look at that infantry behind him too. These guys got some swagger and some style going on right now. I like it. Let's check out the army. A little bit of a blocky formation here for the Dark Elves, which is a little strange. I'm not sure why you would go into this blocky formation. Maybe to help slow down chariot charges or something, but I still don't think it's useful. There are 2 Reaper Bolt Throwers and some Dread Spears, and then the main line is a mix of Bleak Swords, Black Arc Corsairs. There is 1 Harganeth Executioner, and then 2 Black Guards. And then we've got a Fire Sorceress here with the Flaming Head and Fireball as the 2 spells. We've got a Lich Priest, a Lore of Death here, and they are going to be rocking, I think it's Aspect was one of the ones I saw here. Soul Blight, Aspect of Doom and Darkness, the Fate of Buna, and Spirit Leech, so I was wrong. So lots of potential capability there for the Lich Priest. Let's slow it down just for a second. Here's the Sepulchral Stalkers being brought, and then there is a ton of archers, and these are being supported by Khalidah's ability, which improves the missiles in an army. So Khalida is a great lord to bring with skirmishers. You can see there, anything within 40 meters picks up extra missile damage, reload skill. She is not within 40 meters of most of the archers right now, but still a potential solid pick. The main line is actually Tomb Guards, which is going to give the Tomb Kings a lot more staying power than they normally would. And those are, yeah, gonna have to hold the line here against the Dark Elves. So I'm gonna slow down my scroll speed just a little bit so we can get a slightly smoother experience. There are a couple of Nehekara warriors also, and one of the archers is the Blessed Legion. So you're gonna see a burning head come in over here on these spearmen. It actually almost catches the Blessed Legion there, but a nice dodge here by Reptile King to stay away from that. He is getting murdered by the bolt throwers, who intelligently using that anti-infantry shot for these blobs of infantry. Khalida is doing a little bit of scouting over here. She's no doubt spotted a pretty big challenge, which Fellheart and all this infantry is going to be tough to take down. Very tough to take down for the Tomb Kings. It will not be an easy task. There's going to be a Fate of Buna there. Or so, no, it's a Spirit Leech. I think it was a misclick. May have been intended for Lokir. Won't do a whole lot. It does some, fortunately, for Reptile King. But that may have been supposed to be a Fate of Buna there. I'm not entirely certain. So a little bit of a standoff here, but the standoff not going great for the Tomb Kings, honestly. They need to close the distance and kill these Reaper Bolt Throwers if they want to have a chance here. Khalida is going to bypass the Dark Elf line because there's no mobility here to stop her from doing so. And here, I think we're going to see another spell coming in. This is a damage spell, so this is going to be Fate of Buna. Interesting to use it on the Bolt Thrower. I would have thought that a Blackguard or the Executioners would have been the more appropriate choice there. It's actually not causing too much damage because the way that Fate of Buna is balanced, it's meant to hit a unit of a certain size, and the Bolt Thrower crew is too small, I think, for it to hit its maximum potential. Over here, the Fire Sorceress gets a little bit gutsy and decides to pull back. Another Burning Head. This one is going to hit quite a few archers there. Reptile King won't be the end of the world, but look at this reinforcement system where Reptile King just keeps filling the gaps with his reinforcing units, and he's bringing up more to make sure that the Dark Elves just can't punch through his main line, and the archers are starting to unload on the Blackguard. One of the Blackheart Corsairs had gotten ahead of itself and was quickly humbled. The Sepulchral Stalkers are coming up here. They do a ton of damage. They're meant to be anti-large, though. They'll do okay against the infantry, but they'll be a bit wasted against spearmen. There, we get a Doom and Darkness in an attempt to break these Blackheart Corsairs, but there wasn't quite enough. Maybe a quick follow-up attack from the Lich Priest or something from behind would rout them, but by itself, the spell wasn't enough to rout. Khalida gets in a nice explosion there. Yeah, you can see that Doom and Darkness, it's usually good to just follow it up with one kind of morale hit there. And it will usually be enough to knock out an enemy unit, but by itself it may not always be. It kind of depends on the situation. Another Burning Head, Flamings. I'm never going to remember the right name of it. Burning Head, I'm pretty sure is what it is. There's Tomb Guard all over the place engaging. The Sepulchral Stalkers do manage to get to one of the Reaper Bolt Throwers. That's a good thing for Reptile King and his Tomb Kings. Over here, we're going to have Lokir Fellheart just owning for days in the infantry fight. None of these skeletal units are going to have what it takes to overcome the Kraken Lord. His red-hot dual blades are going to be sundering many a skeletal corpse. He's already up to 64 kills, and he's not going to be stopping anytime soon. He has a big bonus versus infantry, and he deals a lot of damage. The archers have done a good job at taking out quite a few Blackguards. The Fire Sorceress continues to stay alive quite annoyingly at this point for the Tomb Kings, and these Tomb Guard, again, proving difficult to kill. And already the Tier 3 Realm of Souls, there's some more Tomb Guards that need to be engaged over here. But Khalida has done pretty good work so far at staying mobile, not getting bogged down anywhere, and on an occasion like this, she's going to come in and put herself to good use. There's a flaming head in the background. Again, it's all focused on the archers. Khalida, on the other hand, is going to try and help get rid of these Blackheart Corsairs. I believe I've missed it, but the Lich Priest appears to be gone, so somewhere along the way the Lich Priest got wrecked. Yeah, no more Lich Priest. These Tomb Guard are going to be activated here. Nehekara Warriors and Tomb Guard are getting some kills. I don't know how much of it is against the Blackguard, but they are getting some kills. Blackguard Corsairs are going to be pretty solid. They have a little more armor than the Tomb Guard. And they also have a bonus versus infantry, though neither is really meant to burst through armor. Oh, there was the Lich Priest. Yeah, and Fellheart felled him. That was no problem for Fellheart. Yeah, Lich Priest just got owned. You can see Khalida here trying to do some work, but she does not want to stick around in a melee fight with Lokir Fellheart for very long. She's a little bit out of her league there. You can see the skirmishers trying to take out this last Reaper Bolt Thrower. And they're in a position to do it. This infantry's just being held up by some Dread Spears. The summoned Ushabti back here getting rid of the other Reaper Bolt Thrower. So the infantry potentially could be handled, but there's still a Harganeth Executioner back here. That is going to be one tough unit to break. And Khalida finally does get bogged down in a melee. Big mistake here by Reptile King, but he recognizes it. Able to get away. Fellheart did take quite a bit of damage, but yeah, he can replenish, whereas Khalida cannot at this point. But she's got a lot of good opportunities here. She's got a lot of infantry left to work with. Fellheart is not fast, and so although the power bar was a little bit in favor of the Dark Elves, Khalida should be able to make up for this with some good charges here and some appropriate targets. She can do a lot of damage to these Executioners. You can see a couple of the Dread Spears quickly routed, which will allow more units to be thrown into combat against Fellheart. The archers are out of ammo at this point. Fellheart is attacking some of the ones that do have a bit of ammo left. Khalida is trying to take out the Executioner. She won't want to stick in melee combat for too long, but there's enough skeletal meat shields here. Skeletal meat. How about bone shield? Would be the better word. Let's get an up-close view of Khalida zooming in and out of combat. Her staff looks awesome. Anyway, those Executioners are going to be surrounded. They certainly outclass the Tomb King infantry here, but with the hits from Khalida and the fact that they're surrounded with no other support, their leadership is taking a serious hit. They're surviving it, though, for the time being. You can see they're going to rack up a considerable number of kills until something forces them off, and there's some spearmen coming back to support. And look at this, Lokir Fellheart is living the Corsair's dream back here, surrounded by infantry. He's basically a Blackguard Corsair Lord. I mean, the Kraken Lord makes sense, right? And he is back here just ripping through skeletons. No problem. His kill count is skyrocketing. He's up to 133. It's not going to stop anytime soon. He's healing off that damage almost as fast as he's taking it. So he is just not being touched hardly. Khalida is managing to pick up some important kills. Look at that, though. The Harganeth Executioners held out till their support could arrive. And Reptile King's going to be busy. Going to be busy trying to get rid of regrouped infantry units. These Blackguard are a tough unit, but on the move there, they're going to take some damage on a charge from Khalida. They weren't braced, but they survived it. So Khalida could potentially take some in return here. And she does. Takes a few hundred hit points worth of it. But manages to rout it. The Executioners look like they'll finally give way this time, but not after they picked up like another 50 kills, I think, almost. So at this point, the Tomb King's coming out with a lot of infantry left. They'll have to get rid of a few of these routing units so they don't regroup. Fellheart, though, alive and well. And his kill count's up to 159. And that you can see the power bar here actually slightly against the Tomb Kings, and that is solely Fellheart. The guy is incredible. It doesn't matter that there's a couple of hundred skeletons left. The AI is like, well, I'm pretty sure he can take out everybody here. And that would certainly be true. If Khalida came up and parked in front of him, he could easily destroy the remaining Tomb King's forces. So the question is going to be, how does Reptile King play this? Does he play it properly? It's going to take a lot of micromanagement, bringing that chariot in, getting the appropriate charges, and getting out before Fellheart can get a hit, which will be aided by the fact that he has infantry all around him. So it'll be hard for him to stay focused on just Khalida. Look at this, Foe Seeker. Dreaded Duelist. Woo! Guy's picking up some stats. The Executioners and a little bit of Blackguard have come back from routing. And Fellhart, jeez, 182 kills. This guy is just absolutely tanking. Absolutely tanking. An incredible performance on his part. Let's go over here. I saw those regrouped Dark Elf units. Here they are, some Executioners and Blackguard. Khalida is closing on them. She's not too worried about this infantry, and I don't think she should be. It's regrouped, it's weak. Oh, she has taken a lot of damage. I don't know where she took it, but she's only down to 481 hit points. Quick hits are her only option. In fact, probably not one, but 2 solid hits, I would think, from Fellhart can drop Khalida at this point. But he's got to contend with a lot of undead units surrounding him right now. By the time they all add up, like I said, I'm thinking in the... We can actually look at the numbers right here. About 260, 250-ish infantry that Fellhart has to deal with. Look at that, 212 kills, though. He is finally getting to where he won't be able to heal a ton more. But he has healed a considerable amount of damage. The Tomb Guard are going to be used to kind of fix the Dark Elf infantry here. And at this point, Khalida will finish them and shouldn't take any damage in return. She's going to swing around here, take a second run at the Executioners, and they should break at any moment. There they go. And that just means it's down to Lokir Fellhart to see if he can now finish off only 188 remaining Tomb King's forces. 1 versus 188, and the power bar says that he's likely to pull it off. Let's see if that's true. This guy is a tank. This is exactly the kind of battle that he wanted to be in throughout this entire battle. Now, granted, he would be better if he had some support, but still, this is the type of world that he excels in when he's just taking on this type of infantry. He can even handle armored infantry decently, but since none of the Tomb Kings deal armor-piercing damage in return, he is not being killed quickly. Let's see what Khalida is able to do. I'm going to leave the stats up so that you all can see it here, because obviously this is going to be a very close finish. Right now, again, it's still saying it's in favor of Lokir, who has cut that 188 all the way down to 124. Cut in the literal sense. 263 kills. Comes a charge from Khalida. Will he be able to get in a hit? Again, the skeletons everywhere. Not this time. He was obviously trying, and he's still trying, but that just means he's going to take some damage there. You can see it happen. He's surrounded, too, which isn't helping his leadership. And it looked like for a minute there he still had that attack order on Khalida. Definitely needed to have that attack order click back. So there again, Khalida attacks. He's just not able to land a return attack. And the distraction's hurting him. He's 272 hit points, or sorry, 274 kills. He's still got a lot of hit points, and he can still heal a little as well. So Khalida cautiously charging through her own troops. She is landing a little bit of damage and causing that distraction, which is helping the infantry do more damage to Fellhart. He is just racking up the kills. It's absolutely absurd. Another charge, though. This one kind of out in the open. Didn't really do a ton of damage to Fellhart, but it knocked him over, so that at least he couldn't return that damage. 280 kills. Will he make it to 300? You can see he is trying desperately to get through to Khalida and land a hit, but that's also causing him to try and disengage and take some hits. When he does land a hit, it takes about half of Khalida's health off. Khalida's still sitting there. He gets another swing in, but now he's taking heavy damage. But Khalida's still not moving, and she gets hit and crumbles. So Fellhart slays the Serpent Queen, and then himself is left with low hit points and low leadership amidst only some Tomb King archers, a little bit of Tomb Guard left here as well. He's only got so many more hit points he can heal. Not a lot, but he is healing. It looks like he's trying to run away rather than fight because they're crumbling. So he's going to try and retreat, heal whatever hit points he can heal, and let the Tomb Guards, or let the Tomb Kings crumble. Let's see if he's actually able to get away from them. It's actually kind of an intelligent strategy here from the Dark Elves to try and pull off a victory. Debilitated, debilitated, crumbling. So the archers are the ones crumbling. Not the Tomb Guard, unfortunately for him. That's hit points they're losing. He turns around to engage, and honestly, he shouldn't. He still had some hit points to heal, and these archers would have crumbled entirely. But Lokir doing the honorable thing, which is strange for the Kraken Lord. He is going to break that 200 or 300 kill barrier there. Very close fight, but look at his leadership. His leadership is down to 18. The Tomb King leadership almost gone. One of their units has been completely destroyed. His hit points dropped. Leadership dropping. He's down to 391 hit points, 343, 310 kills. Only 17 archers and 33 archers and 17. Oh, he routs. He couldn't hold his leadership together. He cut through over 300 infantry, including Khalida, but didn't have just enough left to go through like the remaining, what was that? 50, yeah, 50-ish. So he got left with about 200 and something Tomb Kings left against him. I think about 270-ish. And he cut through all of them except for about 50. So quite the performance from Felhart. Quite the performance indeed. That was a great battle, Reptiles. Thanks for sending that in. I know both players made some mistakes, but in the end, that ending was spectacular. And it's not what you expect. I was expecting that Felhart was going to take that one. It's like, dude, there's no way Reptile King pulls this one off. But his leadership broke right there at the end. 311 kills on foot. Guy was an absolute tank. Khalida did make a couple of mistakes, but managed to rack up a ton of kills herself. The archers did spectacular damage to some of the Blackguard. So that was a nice use there. The Sepulchral Stalkers didn't get a ton of kills, but did manage to help take out some of the artillery eventually. So it worked out okay. And the Tomb Guard, in the end, did a lot of damage themselves too. So an interesting army there to bring the most elite infantry that the Tomb Kings have access to. I'm not saying much, but it's the best they can do. Anyway, fun replay. Thank you to Wolf, and thank you to Reptile King. Really enjoyed that. If you enjoyed the battle, leave me a thumbs up. It helps other people find the video because it helps it trend. Also, if you want to see more, make sure to subscribe. There's a ton of people who watch who haven't subscribed. If you're coming back and watching, subscribe. Make sure you get notified about the next video, and it helps me out a lot too. So really appreciate y'all being here. I will see you soon with some more content because I am off all next week. All next week. I'll be making a ton of content for you all, so get ready for the download during your holiday week. HeirofCarthage, signing out for now.